Hello everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. I am back with another design team project for Not2Shabby. So up here on the screen you'll see a coupon code. When you head over to the shop you can use the coupon code Mary10 and you can get 10% off your order. Okay, so let's get into the card that we're going to make today. You all know my affection for fall. So I know I don't want to rush it though because it's already getting a little chill outside, which I love, but it seems that fall and spring last like 2 weeks. So I'm going to try to elongate that, but this is what we're going to be making today. I'm going to be doing a fall scene with a stamp from Stamping Bella. It is extremely easy to do this, and it is just stamping and a little bit of coloring. Well, a lot of bit of coloring, but super fun. So I'm going to lay this out on my MISTI here, my mini MISTI. Make sure you take out that foam piece because this is a rubber stamp and you don't need all that extra business, but also make sure you remove old sentiments as I forgot to do there because that will mess up your stamping. All right, I'm taking some Versafine Clair Nocturne ink and I'm going to be heat setting this with some clear embossing powder because I just want a little bit of assistance with that embossing to kind of keep my watercoloring in place. I am going to be using some Arteza Real Brush pens for this. I normally don't use brush pens for large surfaces to color in, but I thought I would practice that because I don't normally do it. And I wanted to see how I can get kind of that full coverage with shading and some dimension. So I'm taking a darker green here and I'm going to outline the edges of the grass, sort of just kind of going around. That's all I'm doing, is just outlining it. So I put this down first because I want this to be where the darkest line is for my coloring. So once I line that up, I'm going to then, oh, I forgot to mention, very important, I'm on Bristol smooth cardstock. So this will not work on regular cardstock such as Neenah or truly any other cardstock that doesn't have some sort of a smooth surface. You can use watercolor paper as well, but I really get great results from the Bristol Smooth, and I won't be using too much water. If you're going to use a lot of water, you want a watercolor cardstock. Okay, so then I'm going to go in with my next shade of green, and it's a bit lighter. And I'm going to just rub up against that dark one and kind of pull it out. So you can kind of see me pulling out that color quite a bit. That's because if I don't pull it out at least a little bit, I'm not going to have enough green when I start pulling it out with the water. So I do that, and then I just kind of make my lines where I want stuff, and just, again, simple to do. So now I'm going to take my water brush, and I'm just going to touch the pigment in the ink and drag it out and away. And you want to do this not with a lot of water, with maybe just a slightly damp brush. You can dip it in water. You could use this water brush that has it in the barrel. Either way, but if you use too much, you're going to get a little bit of, well, it's kind of like splotchiness, I guess I could say. So you want to try to make sure it's just a slightly damp brush, and then you can go ahead and take two. Now, it is okay if it does look a little blotchy because, after all, we are watercoloring, so it's not going to be like a smooth alcohol marker finish, and that's okay. But to minimize that and maybe just put a little bit more control of what you want to do, that's what I would recommend, is smooth brush strokes back and forth, and just kind of blot up what you don't like with maybe a wet paper towel. Just be careful with that. So play with it. Figure out how you want to be the one to control this watercolor, because that's what's fun about the Real Brush pens, is you have so much more control than if you were just putting water down onto a project. So I'm going to go back, now I'm going to go in with the grays. So I use a dark gray and a light gray, and this is going to give me some of those shadows on the road. So same exact technique, nothing different here. I'm just using the darker where I want the most shading, the lighter to kind of pull it out. Remember, with Real Brush pens, a little goes a long way, and the road does not have as much space as the grass did. So that's why I put a lot more down on the grass and not hardly any for the road. It was just, if I did that, I didn't want it to be a black road. I definitely wanted you to be able to see some of those contrasts and colors. Okay, so we are moving on to the most fun part here in a second, which is the leaves. Have fun with it. Pick whatever works for you. I don't know if I showed this, but I have a piece of Post-it label tape underneath this project, I believe, to hold down to my mat. It just makes it so much easier from shifting around on me. Yeah, it's just a little tip. So, all right, I'm going to take some fall colors here, and I'm going to mix them. I'm going to go in with some burnt oranges, red, yellow, some green, and just kind of mixing. Now, you don't want to totally take your brush and mix all over the tree because that will make mud. And so brown isn't necessarily the color I was going for. And so I am trying to be deliberate in separating out some of those different colors. So you can see I'm trying also to go in a rainbowish type order. So I did like the dark, kind of like the maroonish red, the burnt orange, and then I go in with the yellow because I'm trying to keep it so that those colors like each other. So that was helpful. It wasn't until I decided I was going to add some green where I started to see a little bit of not what I was looking for. And so I kind of halted that move and just kind of put a little bit of green down in a few different spots, but you can't really see it, which was fine with me because I realized that that's not what I was going for. And I'm loving the way that this tree is coming out. This tree reminds me of northeastern Pennsylvania where I grew up, and it's just beautiful this time of year. Anything New England I've seen is just gorgeous at this time of year. Okay, so now we're going to get to move into the sky. So I do want a blue background. You saw me kind of shift my paper around. It's easier if I color at this angle. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that blue down, and then I'm going to drag it out. I do a darker blue and then more of like I guess I can compare it to like a stormy sky if you have distress oxides. So it's more of that kind of blue. And then I'm going to take my water brush and I'm just going to make sure it's mixed and blended well and then pull that out. So the very top of this card, I believe, is still white, but because we blend that out from the shadow up, it kind of looks like a background, like a sky background. There's a lot of white in the sky too. You can have clouds. So have fun with it. Just do whatever floats your boat on that sky. You can actually add clouds with some stenciling, maybe just some white strokes. It's just whatever you want to do, wherever your creativity takes you. So that's what I'm doing with the sky here, and it's kind of just figuring out how I want that to look. Once that's done, I am going to heat set this, and just to make sure that it's good to go and ready to do my sentiment. So I heat set that. You can see I'm reusing paper. I used that cardstock in a demo video. Okay, so now I'm going to trim this down with my tonic trimmer here. And I believe I take about 1/8 of an inch off each side, so 1/4 inch total. And I do that because I want to mat this. I'm going to mat this one on some brown cardstock. I feel like that just kind of finishes it off right around the edges of it and just kind of gives it a nice clean look, adds to the fall color scheme and all that good stuff. So I'm going to take some foam tape here and I'm going to lay that down. I got a little bit of warping, not terrible, but a little bit, and that foam tape will flatten it right out. Now I'm going to take my 110-pound Neenah Solar white card base. I'm going to score that halfway to make this an A2 size card, halfway being at 5.5. And then I am going to take my art glitter glue and add this to my panel, putting it down onto my card base. And that's pretty much done with this card. Feel free to embellish, add stickles, Nuvo drops, whatever you want to this card. I finished it off with a sentiment that said happy fall, y'all, and I am going to leave it as is. I feel like this is a great gender neutral card, so I can send it to anyone, and that will do it. Thank you so much for stopping by and for hanging out with me. I will list what I used below in the description box. Don't forget to head over to Not2Shabby, check out what's in store. There's a new release, super fun stuff, and we will see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.